Ooh, hello, everybody. This is Pastor Lan coming to you again, all the way from Chicago, precisely Everston. Light 360 broadcast, the final broadcast for this week. It's been a very powerful week. Powerful stories that we've been hearing since the beginning of this week of some amazing people sharing what God has been doing in their lives. And today, we're going to be having another powerful one. And I'm really looking forward to our conversation today on Light 360. Let me, first of all, start by welcoming everyone joining us. Thank you for joining us for Light 360. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm excited to be able to share this conversation with you again today. I will appreciate it, those of you joining us, if you can just, post, underneath the video on whichever platform that you are using to watch it, where you're watching from. It would be good to just get a sample of, people who are joining us and where they are joining us from. All right. So the way the Live 360 goes, if you've not participated, if you've not watched it before, the way it goes is I have a guest that comes on, and then we start to talk and have conversations. We hear the story of the person, of how God is working in the life of the person, especially, particularly in the area of being a light in their sphere of influence, which is what, we've been called to do, to help people find their purpose and, live as light in their spheres of influence. So we do that. And then, from the story, we extract, our principles, we extract things that, will be a blessing to those of you who are watching. So I know that today's one is going to be powerful again. So without wasting any time, I'm going to be bringing on our guests for today, and we're going to be having a conversation for the next, 50 minutes or so, just sharing about what God is doing in their life. So the person that is coming on today, if you see me, I'm dressed. I look very colorful, very colorful. I have a bunch of colorful shirts and how do you call it? Attires like this, and it's courtesy of this person. She's a gifted and creative person, entrepreneur. She has a passion for fashion. That rhymes. A passion for fashion and beauty, making people look good, making things look beautiful. She's also a worshiper. She loves to worship. She's one of the worship leader at the City Light Church. She has a passion for entrepreneurship. She wants to bring transformation to the world through her creativity. I've known her for a couple of years right now, and she's a very lovely person. Wonderful, amiable, very diligent and faithful and consistent in whatever she put her hands to do. I've watched her over time. There are different things that she picks up, and you will always see her consistent, staying there no matter what is going on. So she's she's a very creative person. We'll talk about it. God has given her that gift of, aesthetics and seeing colors and combining stuff and all that. So this is going to be a very interesting conversation. So without wasting any time, I want to welcome a beautiful sister, daughter in the faith, wonderful person to today's broadcast in the person of Miss Opeoluwa Dele-Ige. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Pastor Lan.
Light 360.
I know all the characteristics were like surprising.
Oh wow! Well, I watch, so I may not talk all the time, but I watch and I observe and I take notes. So yeah. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So how are you doing today? How is everything going with you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. God is faithful. Thank God. Yeah, I'm doing very well.
Awesome. Praise God for that. So let's start with the first question I usually ask everybody that comes on this show. Who
Okay.
is Opeoluwa? Tell us.
Oh Lord. Okay. Yeah. So my name is Opeoluwa Dele-Ige, right? And I'm into fashion designing. I'm a fashion designer. I'm the third child of my parents from a very big family. So let's keep that. So what else? Yeah, I have my educational background in microbiology, and at some point, I just realized I needed to make a shift, and I made the shift at a time where, I had a job that everything was going well for me. It looked stupid, but I knew that was what I needed to do, and I had to just make that shift. What else? So, okay, my personality. I think I'm going to talk about that in terms of Pastor Lam, please, can I see your face?
Don't worry, I'm right here. It's okay.
Okay, yeah, I felt so lonely there. All right,
Okay, don't worry. It's okay.
all right. So
I
I
wanted
had
people to see your face fully. And then, go ahead.
all
Mhm.
right. So because when I started my self discovery, it was due to a book I read way back in 2001, and that was Spirit Control Temperament.
Oh,
That
I
was
love
the book
that
that
book.
really helped me in
Yeah.
my self discovery. So when I try to describe my personality, I describe it in terms of what the book spoke about. So I would say I'm a male flag,
Oh,
and I
okay.
have a little bit of choleric,
Okay. All
just a
right.
bit of that.
I
Yeah.
understand
So
that.
so I'm analytical. I'm a deep thinker. I'm a
Mhm.
feeler.
Okay.
I'm thoughtful. Um, reserved. I can be shy, although a lot of people don't believe that I'm a shy person, but yeah. And I'm self-sacrificial. And then for my choleric part, I can be blunt.
Mm.
And then I think I'm goal-oriented. When I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, then I try as much as possible to go after that and do it.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your background. You were born in Nigeria, and then
Yeah.
you said you
Yeah.
studied microbiology, and then
Yeah.
how did you get into fashion from microbiology?
Okay, so I was born in Nigeria, had my high school in Nigeria. I was a science student, and when it was time to go to college, I actually wanted to go for medicine because
Mhm.
every parent want their kids to be either a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Mhm.
I couldn't get into medical school, so I had to go for microbiology, and I really enjoyed the course though. And it was while I was in school that it was like an exposure for me because, I met other people. It was a different environment. And that
Okay.
was when I actually got serious about my faith because I
Mm.
was born into a Christian home anyway.
Okay.
We went to church, we read the Bible, but it was where I actually was exposed to having a relationship, a personal
Mm.
relationship. So that was where the journey started. So it was while doing that, and I started the process of self discovery and what I really like to do.
Mhm.
And before I finished my microbiology, I noticed that people used to talk about the way I dressed. I wasn't conscious of that. I
Mm.
just dressed the way I felt, I wanted to. I just did what I needed to do. But my friends started saying that you're always this, you're always that. So I started like giving thought to that. And I'm always like, trying to make sure my friends, anytime there's something not well arranged or structured,
Mm.
I just touch. Unknowingly, I just like, okay, this should be here, this should be here. So when they started saying that, I started paying attention. And then I had a friend that knew how to sew. So I started like learning a bit from her. I had a younger sister, I told her to go, and I don't know, it just came that okay, sewing, fashion designing. So I started learning. So after school, I was like, okay, before my NYSC, let me just go and do like 6 months apprenticeship. So
Okay.
I went and did the apprenticeship, then I went to serve. But it never left me from then. I just wanted to create things. I just wanted to, to make clothes. And after my NYSC, I got a teaching job. I did that, but I always wanted to sew still. I had my sewing machines and all. So I think about 2 years after that, I couldn't get a job. So I started sewing for people in
Wow.
Lagos, yeah. So I started, making clothes for people. But then my parents were like,
Hmm.
what's the use of your microbiology? You're going to use your microbiology to sweat. It was getting to me. So I spoke with a friend of mine who was working at the time with the pharmaceutical industry. Thanks, Joyce. That okay, I need to get a job, and so he put my name in. So I got a job as a sales associate in the pharmaceutical industry, and I got the job. I had my own car, and my parents seemed happy after all. I was in my microbiology, but I told myself I was going into it for 2 years because I wanted to give myself a leverage. I wanted to save up money just so I could establish more in what I was doing. But when I started earning salary, I forgot my first year. I forgot about my plan. So about 2 years, I think the second year, I want to believe that God gave me a dream. And that dream was a reminder that I had left what I was supposed to be doing and I started doing something else. Fine. The thing I was doing was bringing in stuff, and I was bored. What that thing was bringing is not as much as what I was, as it was like a proverb. And when I woke up and I thought about it, I prayed about it, and that was just the meaning I got. That okay, I'm not supposed to be here. So I started praying about what to do, and then I realized that okay, I need to sharpen my edge. I'd not been really sewing for a while. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna go back there, I need to be equipped. I need to add to my confidence. I need to be more knowledgeable. I can't go back the way I left it. So it was in the second year I started looking for schools. Meanwhile, I'd been looking for schools in the US anyway. So I started looking for schools and I saw that I didn't have up to the school fees here in the US. So my brother was in South Africa at the time. So I found a school and I spoke to him and he was like, okay, it's fine, you can come. So I found the school, I paid my acceptance fee and then I didn't tell my parents. All the while, no, I didn't tell them. And then after everything was done, I got my visa, my study visa and everything. And I think I had a month to leave Nigeria. Then I went back home because I was working in Abuja. My parents were in Ibadan. So then I went back home and told my parents that I was leaving my job to go to South Africa. So they were like, you had a good job. And I was like, okay, my fees are paid. I'm going back. And they just couldn't say anything. And that was how I left Nigeria to South Africa to study.
Awesome. Which part of South Africa was that?
I was in Cape Town for
Cape
2
Town.
years.
Wow. You are the second person that I will be interviewing that went to Cape Town. Sheila too was in Cape Town too. She went from Kenya to Cape Town. Yeah, I love Cape Town. So,
Yeah, it is beautiful.
yeah, beautiful place.
Yeah.
Awesome. So do you regret not doing medicine?
I don't regret it. Seriously, I know I would have done well in that field because I had what it takes. I mean, but my parents, I think some months ago, my mom was still asking me that, is it bye-bye to medicine? Have you finally said bye-bye to me? I was like, nah, I don't know, because I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't know, but I don't think I regret it.
Yeah.
Really,
So, it's the classic fight between what society or people, sometimes parents expect of you because of what it's called lucrative, and then what you are passionate about doing, what you feel this is what I am created for. Now, I usually say it in the Leading Lights training that there's a relationship between career and your purpose. Your career is not necessarily your purpose, but your career, can be your purpose. That blessed are those whose career is the same thing as their purpose. They found it early and all that. But all of us had to go through that thing. I was an engineer. I was trained as an engineer, electronics engineer. And then I have this calling of becoming a pastor. And then the struggle came, okay, so which direction am I going to go in all of this? But of course, eventually the pastoring and speaking and all that ruled out. But, I didn't leave my desire, my passion for engineering. It's a hobby of mine. I love electronics, gadgets. I still do it. I still wire things and do all that and everything. But, what I felt was my overriding purpose, right? Prevailed. And of course, I don't regret that. So I just, did you went through that, right? What will you say to somebody who is going through that right now?
I mean, it's a very, I was able to finally decide and make that shift because I was working and I was saving up for what I wanted to do. I think at the time when you're still kind of dependent on your parents, you might not be able to make that decision. And I would say I don't regret studying microbiology or going to college to study microbiology because it adds up to who I am today. So there are times that the time might not be right to make that switch. And despite the fact, I mean, at some point I was thinking about dropping out because I couldn't pay my fees at some point, and I was like, okay, if I was going to leave school right now, this was what I was going to go for. But I mean, I just spoke with a friend, and I got a scholarship in my third year, and scholarship for my third year and my fourth year. So I knew God wanted me there because that place I went to, the college I went to, actually shaped who I am today, helped me in my self discovery, in my purpose discovery, and I met wonderful people. So when you're still like with your parents and they're saying, this is what you should do, and you know that that's not your passion, I would say we should not rush out or just say no, this is because I have a friend too that also wanted to drop out. She was studying botany. She wanted to go for nursing. And she was going to leave school, but because she said she wanted to help people, she eventually studied public health. She wanted to drop out. I was like, see, just chill. Let's finish this degree. But after her botany, she went ahead to do public health, and she helps less privileged all over the world. So I would say there are times that the time is not right for you to go after that. And I believe that if you're someone that has a relationship with God, when the time is right for you to go after what He wants you to do, I think everything will just work in your favor. So I think timing is very, very important at times so that we don't get out of where God wants us prematurely.
Yeah, very good. And some people even think that your undergraduate degree is where you make the final decision for what you are going to do in life. No, there are some other things that your going to university provides for you. Just like you mentioned, discipline, meeting, a network, learning, to be independent, to do that. And sometimes it can provide for you your first, level of funding for your life.
Yes.
That can now allow you, to go into what you are, what you truly plan to do. People will come to me for counsel that they want to go and do their masters. I usually tell people, if you want to do a master's degree, make sure you don't just do a master's degree based on what you did in your undergrad.
Yes.
Do a master's degree that is truly what you want to do in life, your passion. Go for that in that. So I think
I was going to, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Before I got to South Africa, I was actually thinking about it because I also like psychology. Psychology is one course I'm so passionate about. So I sat myself down. I was like, okay, should I go for masters in microbiology in South Africa or go for fashion? And I was like, okay, do I see myself, doing microbiology in the next 5, 10 years? I was like, no, I don't see myself. So I was like, why not just go after what you see yourself doing? And that was why I was able to make the decision that, okay, I'm going for
Yeah.
fashion. I still have passion for psychology. I'm still going to study organizational psychology at some point. But,
Yeah.
like you said, you need to, when you get to the master's level, you need to
Yeah.
decide if this is what you want to spend your life doing or not.
Yeah. So basically, you are one of those people who succeeded in turning their passion into money. I know you are still on the journey, but you were able to successfully turn what started as a hobby, right? You just discovered that about yourself. You started learning how to sew. You started sewing. I think you are the third or fourth person that I have, met like that are in the fashion industry that they just started sewing and all that. And they discovered that, wow, and then they became fashion. They started fashion businesses and all that. Is there hope for me that I can also,
I mean,
maybe if I start sewing now, I can be so extra.
there's hope for you. So it's never too late. So anybody can start at any time. And I think one thing that actually made me decide was like, okay, my brother still calls it a hobby up till now. There was even a time with my big brother, there was a time was like, you're supposed to be using scissors on people, you're using it on clothes. I was like, leave me. because they still believe I'm supposed to be a medical doctor.
Yeah, they want you to be a surgeon.
But I feel like, there are some things are hidden, some things are out there and people see that this is what it is. But some things are hidden and God is blessing you through it, and you can see the hand of God. You
They're telling me to stay in my lane.
so
How you sure it's my
yeah.
lane? Maybe I'm still
So
discovering,
I mean, personally, you could be a model.
Eh,
Yes. So you
okay.
have you have
You
the
send me the like where I can apply. Send me the application,
No, I can employ you. You're on the
Good.
track already.
As long as money comes to me, I will do it. Right now, I'm modeling for you. This is something that you made.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So awesome. So let's deep. I want us to talk further more about that transition from microbiology, finding your passion, and then you went to school. What was your school? What was the school about in South Africa?
It was a fashion institute, and I was actually going to for a year's course just to sharpen my edge to have that international experience because I did apprenticeship in Nigeria. Although with that apprenticeship, I was always searching, I was always researching, I was always looking for terms that people use in the Western world. Like I didn't want to call the sewing machines how they were calling it in Nigeria. So I was always researching so that my vocabulary would be on point. But then I knew that I needed that training in terms of, making patterns, cutting, and, so I went for a year's program just to learn that and see how they do it because I knew that South Africa has the international standard.
Yeah.
So I went there, and then my first 2 weeks in the school, they were like, you are more advanced than this class. That they just started a 2-year course that I should just join the class. So I had to move from that class to the other class. So basically, it was an eye opener for me, and I was the best in my class too. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So he actually helped sharpen my edge, and he helped me. He made me ready if I was going to be employed by somebody. That was why I told myself that if somebody wanted to employ me, would I be confident enough to feel that? And that was what that did for me.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So from what you've been saying right now, I'm extracting certain things, and correct me if I'm wrong. If you are born, you were born and you went to school for something, your parents sent you to school for something, but along the line, you began to find out that, what, I think I have some gift, or I have this hobby, I have this passion for this thing. And you are impressed through prayer, your relationship with God and all that I need to turn this thing into what I truly do. Here are some things that you should do. First of all, of course, clarify with God, clarify, then don't be afraid to explore. Start using your talent, start using that gift, right? Just be using it. It doesn't have to be a profession, just be using it and all that. And then the next thing is, if you feel that that's the direction you want to go, right? And it's time and you are ready, get trained in that area.
Yes.
Get trained in that area. Like explore it further, go
Yes.
further and get trained, including even seeking for advanced training outside of where you are located, if that is what is necessary.
Yes.
I capture that right?
Yes, you did. Yes.
Okay. So if you were going to tell somebody from your story now, how do you turn your passion into profit? How do you turn your passion into profit? Give us, tell us how the person will do it.
Okay. I think you just summarized the whole thing. I would say, first of all, the passion is there. I would say research, study people's lives. Look at people that have done it before. Look at what they do. Know about that passion. Don't just run. Then another way, a way you can do that is to get trained, like you also said. You need to know what you're talking about. Passion is not enough. You need to when people hear you, they need to know that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And even when you get trained, it's going to boost your confidence. You'll be able to know that, okay, I know what I'm talking about. It's not just the passion that is carrying me. I'm trained and I know what I'm doing. And then I think I'll talk about the remaining ones as we
Move on.
go.
How do you deal with family members? They love you, right? They love you and they just believe that this is what you are supposed to do, but you feel that this is what I want to do. How do you deal with such? I went through it, and I know a lot of people here are, they go through that. Parents love them and all that. They want them to go. You must be a lawyer. You must be a doctor. You must be an engineer. But then they want to be musicians, right? Or they want to, and then there's all that struggle. How do you deal with that?
Okay, so like I said the first time, timing is very important when you're still under their roof and you're eating their food.
they call that the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. So they're still
And
giving
then
you money, then you are still subject to their rules. Yeah.
and then you remember you're also getting trained while you're with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think while you're still there, you can keep doing your research and
Okay.
keep doing stay where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you're doing diligently.
Yeah.
But keep planning for
Mm-hmm.
that thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't just say, okay, I'm here, I'm waiting for my timing. Don't sit down and just wait. Plan, research, give
Yeah.
yourself time limit. I'm going to do this for this period of time. And
Mm-hmm.
then for me, when I started working, because I'm used to like saving, I don't spend my money 100%. Something that I've always done while I was little.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easy for me to just start keeping money aside. So
Yeah.
one of the ways you want to be as independent as possible. You
Mm-hmm.
understand by the time you want to go into, and you don't want to like depend on anybody. You want to be able to like say that, okay, this is what I'm being ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I started like saving up money, and when I was ready to, I first of all I was sure
Mm.
that was what I needed to do, and then I planned towards it. And when it was time, I already had everything sorted out. So
Yeah.
that I would call result. There are some times that until your family members see results, they're still gonna keep saying what they are saying.
Yeah.
So, and that's like proving yourself.
You have to prove it.
You need to be able to prove yourself. And then with the things you've been doing, if I mean while you're still under their roof, if your parents can trust you, if
Mm-hmm.
you've been carrying yourself in a way that they are able to trust you and trust your decisions, I think that would also help. So
Yeah.
I think there are times that it is until they see results. You can also pray, sorry, you can also pray that God should
Mhm.
just touch their heart and communicate to
Yeah.
them. So I would say that maybe this depends on the environment, the circumstances you're in.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I was doing my work and I was saving up. And when I knew that I could do it by myself. My
Mm-hmm.
dad still says that I did not tell anybody anything. I just told them I was leaving, and they saw the result.
Mm-hmm.
So there are times that when they see the result,
Yeah.
that's when they will be able to like
That
trust
was that
us.
was my story too. My dad was like, "You want to be a pastor? I sent you to be, an engineer. I want you to be, Faith, you want to be a pastor? I want to be a pastor. You're not even talking about being a Roman Catholic priest. At least if you're a Roman Catholic priest, they will give you a house. They will." He
It's a
told me
lot of
that.
work.
He said, "If you want to go to real seminary, I will send you to the Roman Catholic, priest." My mom was like, "Don't mind him. He doesn't want me to have grandchildren, you know." So, but I had to prove myself. I remember the first time my dad came. He came to my ordination, 1999, when I was being ordained as a pastor. And by that time, I had pastors for some time, and he had heard some things and all that. And I could see the pride in his eyes, when I came. And then later, when I would send him my books and all that, and he would read them, and wow, you find out, before he passed away, there was just that realization that this guy actually found what his life was about, and he pursued it. So he was really proud. He was proud of that. So, but there was a struggle at first, and that's a struggle that a lot of people go through, right? Like, how do I do this? And you've laid it out very well. One of the key things is you must show proof, because they are really, they really care about you, right? They want you to be okay. That's why all those things are coming up. So I usually use this passage many years ago came to me. If you remember the story of when Paul was stranded, like they had a shipwreck and they were on the island of Miletus. And then while they got down, Paul had gotten there. He was, they were taking him to Rome, right? He was arrested, he was in chains and all that. And then he had a shipwreck again, right? And
Yeah,
then the shipwreck, they got to the island and all that. So while they were in the island, they were gathering sticks. A snake came out of the fire and beat him again. So everybody looking around say, this guy must really, really be a bad guy. He's in chains. He's what do you call it? He had a shipwreck. And now, after shipwreck, again, a snake is biting him out of the fire. What sin did this guy commit that is going through all this stuff?
yeah,
But there was a phrase in there, and that phrase has become something that has really helped me in life. They said, and they began to look. They were looking at him whether he was going to die from the, from the bite, of the snake, from the poison. He said they were all looking. He said, but Paul just shook the snake into the fire, and they were all looking whether he was going to die, but nothing happened. Then they concluded that he was a god. That was by watching him.
yeah,
Even though everybody concluded that this guy was making the wrong decision, was wrong, everything, but by watching him, because he never quit, he just continued.
yeah.
Then they said he was a god. And all of them started coming to him. He started praying for them, and they were all getting healed. And then they had a revival in that island. And so I tell people that many times in life, when people are doubting what you are doing, when they are doubting whether you are going in the right direction, only consistency and persistence over time is what is going to, it's what resolves it. They will be watching you. People watch. I've seen different things that God will say, go and do. And I know people are watching. Let's see how it's going to turn out. Let's see. And afterward, they say, this must be the will of God. Sometimes a program or whatever. We have to be strong and not shaken by by opinions of people. And that strength comes from your relationship with God, right?
Yes.
What do you say to
Yes. So thanks for saying that, Pastor Lan. I mean, AJ says it all the time that you're a courageous woman. I'm like, AJ. I'm like, no, I don't see myself like that. It's always like I make some decisions, I do some things, and it's only somebody that's courageous. I mean, I'm like, no, it's not because there's some things that I'm scared. As in, I'm like, am I sure? But because of the relationship with God, because of that belief that I know God has my back, and before I actually do anything, I try to be sure this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then I do a lot of things scared that I don't know,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But because of the relationship with God that I, like you said,
Yeah.
those are the things that give you courage to go
Correct.
ahead and do a lot of things. Yeah.
That is very scriptural. Using my hero again, my Bible hero, Paul. Apart from Jesus, Paul is my hero. In the Bible, and Paul. Even though he was bold and all that, he made that statement. He said to the Corinthians, he said, "I do not come to you with excellency of speech and all that, but he said that I did not come to you with excellency of speech or something like that. But anyway, he said, I come before you with fear and trembling. Yeah, with fear and trembling. So courage is not the absence of fear, but it's acting in spite of the fear. So I know many things that I step out to do. In fact, if not everything that is new that God tells me to do, I do it with fear. I just do it, knowing that I know this is what God is telling me to do. Whether it is to start this thing or to go to this place or to do whatever, I just do it because courage is you acting against the fear. It is not the fear, that fear thing. So all of us, we go through fear because our minds have been conditioned in a particular way. Our bodies have been conditioned. Apart from that, you know what is called the comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
What we call the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Everybody has a comfort zone,
Yeah.
right? So whenever you get to the limit of that comfort zone, right, it's a place of convenience. It's a place of safety that you have put yourself. Every time you get to that limit, everything will start shaking. I don't know if you've ever driven a car that is a car that is that is old before. I've driven old cars before. When you are pressing the car, like when you get to maybe on some places you get to some speed, the car will just start shaking. Then you don't have to, you don't have to reduce the speed because it looks like this car is about to explode. Yeah, so that's how the comfort zone is. Whenever we reach that limit of our comfort zone, everything will just start shaking inside of you. Yeah, and then before you know it, everybody, people will quit. And sometimes people will lie. They will say, God told me, that I should not do this any longer, But it's actually their comfort zone speaking, But, I've written this, many times and spoken about it that when God wants to move you to the next level in your life or even your purpose is blessing for you, he doesn't put it inside your comfort zone. He puts it outside your comfort zone and then he beckons you and say, come, dare to come and get it. That's why we all must constantly go outside your comfort zone. Anytime you see yourself, our viewers, anytime you see yourself that you are relaxing in a particular zone, you are so comfortable in there, you know it that you are not growing any longer. It's time for you to step out of your comfort zone. For example, this media thing that I'm doing right now is stepping out of my comfort zone. I never liked it and all that. But during this coronavirus, I just knew God wanted me to do it. So I'm going to step outside my comfort zone and just, you get out of it. So courage is being able to step out of your comfort zone. You go, and then one last thing before, I'll let you, respond to that. What reinforces the comfort zone? It's actually something God has given to us. So God has given us a spirit, right, and our soul and all that. And they are meant to protect us. They are meant to keep us going in the right direction and all that. So whenever you have convinced yourself that this is safe and they believe that this is safe for you, they will fight anything to keep you in that safe zone. Because if you go outside of it, it might shake everything. They'll feel that you are in danger. So through acting, like acting out in spite of the fear, you convince yourself. You understand? You convince yourself, your subconscious, yourself, that it's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to die. I know you care about me, but it's okay. I will not die. I will survive this. And then after a while, to get, it will be pacified. I'm like, okay, I think so. I think so. But then it will now reinforce another comfort zone in that place.
Yeah.
So you have to keep pushing. You have to keep moving on so that you don't stay in that place. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, that was on point because I remember when I got the job I was telling you about, it was really comfortable. I forgot about my 2 years. I'm telling you because I got an official car, and from my set I was the only person that got a brand new car, and my expenses were paid. I was fine. I was But then second year, I had the dream and I was like, while I was thinking about it, then the company started introducing some new policies that was going to affect, my income.
Yeah.
Because that the company also trained me in my entrepreneurship ability, because it's a sales job.
Yeah.
So you have that tendency, that ability to make some money on the field.
Yeah.
But when the shaking was about to come, they started bringing in some policies that those money you're making on the field are going to be going to the company. So for me, that was the pointer that, hey, you need to get out of this place before, because you're like spending overtime. And the same thing also happened very recently when I had to leave the person I was working with. Yeah, here in the States. It wasn't an easy
Yeah,
decision.
you hit your comfort zone. I remember when we were doing the math stuff too, you hit some comfort zone in that, to expand it. Really. Yep.
It wasn't an easy decision. Sometimes I still think back to it, but my needs are met. I'm out of the job and my needs are getting met.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an easy decision for me, because that was what I knew since I got here.
Yeah.
And I had to just step out. So
Yeah.
like you said, and I think this COVID was one of the shaky. The Bible says that when God has given us an unshakable kingdom,
Yeah.
and some things, when some things that can be shaken are shaken, the ones that cannot be shaken will stand. So it was like a shaking for me,
Yeah.
and I just had to step out. I'm still out here, but I know God's got my back.
Yeah.
So yeah, so God pushes us out of the comfort zone, because what He has for us is bigger than us,
Yeah.
and He's the only one that can bring it to pass.
Yeah. Very good. Well said. Well said. So from South Africa to the United States, what brings you to Chicago, and what's going on in Chicago?
Oh, I came to Chicago only because this was the only place where I would be received. I have an uncle here, and it was at the time I wanted to come, it was the only person that said, it's fine, you can come. And before I came, he spoke with his friend. My former boss is his friend's wife, who
Yeah.
was a designer. So he was like, okay, she's coming in, she can sew. And, so as I came in, I just started with her. So it was like God planned somehow. So I'm in Chicago just because I was going to be received
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Chicago. Yeah.
So how were you able to carry on to proceed in that passion of yours? Break into the Chicago market. How what were your steps?
Yeah, so coming into Chicago, I was so happy that I was going to start working with somebody. She's African American, who is here and is in the market already, and she knows the business. So it was like an opportunity for me. It was like a soft landing for me to work with her and see how it is here, and
Mm-hmm.
try to um navigate. I'm still navigating it. And
Mm-hmm.
then another thing that helped me was my church family, which is City Light. I think I was 3 months old when I got to City Light, and I don't know, it's just been, sometimes I
How
don't
did you get to
understand.
see? Like, was it not a Uber ride or something like that?
Yes, I was gonna go to a white church.
Okay, all right.
So I went to City Church, because in South Africa the church I was going to was a white church. So I was like, I wanted to. So I went to City Church, which was far from where I lived, and I was coming
Nice
back.
church. I love it. The pastor is my
Yeah,
friend. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So the Uber driver I got was a lady. So she was. So we're having. So I was prompted to have a conversation with her actually. So I
Mm-hmm.
started the conversation, and she was like, So we started talking, and she was like, okay, how come you have to go all the way to
Mm-hmm.
City Church? I was like, okay, I've been looking for a church to attend. I just wanted to see. So she was like, there's a church around your house that she's been there a couple of times, and that the church is okay and all that. So I was like, okay, so do you still go to the church? She said no. that she's Muslim. I was like, okay. So I mean, she just spoke well, that she really enjoyed that time, the couple of times she
Well, it's
did, and
good to be
just
recommended.
tried.
It's good to be recommended by Muslims. You know?
So I was like, okay, that the following Sunday I was gonna try it out and see what it was like.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to that time, I think I had a dream that I saw my pastor in Abuja, Pastor Biodu. And then the very Sunday I got to the church, they were announcing the Glow Conference, and the speakers were going to be Pastor Biodu.
Yeah.
But I mean, the pastors I listen to and I follow, I was like, okay, this sounds like a confirmation.
Yeah.
And then I heard that Pastor Sam was Pastor Lance father. So I was like, okay, this feels like home. So I
Yeah.
decided to stay back in City Light. And
Awesome.
I've not regretted it.
Good. So tell us what's been happening from City Light to Leading Light. How has that impacted your purpose and your work? You know, your work with God.
Okay, for my purpose, City Light people are wonderful people, and all I've seen from them has been encouragement.
Mm.
People have encouraged me, people have commented about what I do. I
Mm.
mean, they are just wonderful people. And then the following year, I was told to take Leading Light. Pastor Peace was on my case because I don't. I was like, I know what I should be doing. I've done what DL is it
Growth
DLA
track.
data?
Oh, you did this, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I did this
Leadership
now.
Academy. Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I've done all those things, I know. So she was like, just try it, just try it. So the following year in January, I attended it, and it was really powerful. It was a reminder of everything I knew. And for me, one of my takeaways that, it's just having people know about what you do. For me, that's like create something like an accountability
Mm-hmm.
in my heart, that even when I'm not talking to them, I know that I have people around me
Mm-hmm.
that have said this is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
I know they are watching.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
have to be careful what I do,
Yeah.
and being able to also reach out to them that this is what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
they're watching my back has been
Very
kind of
good.
helpful.
So at the Leading Light, we must have written something to your name, right? Based on
Yes,
the mission statement. Do you have
yes,
it? You know?
yes, I have it here, but
Okay.
I have to check it.
Okay. No problem. That's fine. Yeah. Tell me. I
Yeah.
want to know. Mm-hmm.
So Opeoluwa is a organizer,
Mm.
preparer of people for excellence, empowering entrepreneurship, enhancing opportunities to lift the unemployed and under-resourced.
Wow.
My W is writer, worshiper, and wardrobe, and
Mm.
the A is artist.
Wow.
So I
Very
like
good.
I like structures, I like organizing things,
Mm-hmm.
and then I also like, because I believe in, instead of giving people fish, teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
So I believe in passing down skills or passing down information that would help people, that would empower people
Mm-hmm.
to make more and be more. So yeah, so that's the empowering entrepreneurship to leave the unemployed and under-resourced.
Awesome. So what do you see? I know that one of the things we do at the Leading Light is that we talk about what God is doing on the earth, His purpose, His kingdom. What do you see is the role of your own role in the kingdom, fashion and all that? How does that translate into what God is doing on the earth?
Okay, yeah, I believe that. Sorry. So I believe that we need to represent God well.
Mm.
The fact that we are Christians doesn't mean that we should just appear shabbily in God's presence and in the presence of the world.
Mhm.
It's still very true today that people address you the way you are dressed.
So, yeah.
It's still very true.
So you
People.
mean that I can't have sagging pants and you know? Eh?
Yeah,
Okay.
people see you before they listen to you.
Mm.
So, and then if you look good, there's a confidence that comes. Fine, our confidence is not based on that, but you're able to talk and people will listen to you because they see you first before
Yeah.
they listen to you. So that's the role of the wardrobe part.
Mhm.
I like seeing people look good. I want them to be well dressed. I think it's very, very important in God's kingdom, because we are still in the world, and the world will see us before they even listen to us.
Yeah.
And when it comes to skill, I believe that we need to start creating businesses. I think I'm a skills advocate. I think for me, the core part of what I do is the skills part, because I believe that your skill, nobody can take your skill from you, and it's relevant anywhere you get in the world. And you can make money with your skill. So the skill part is, we can actually take over the world if we're going to develop skills and start businesses and start transferring those skills to other people. So the skill part is really my core. It's just that I like wardrobe. That's why I diverted into the fashion. But the end result is like having like a college of technology, or training school where people just come in and just even if you're a doctor or whatever you want to eventually want to study, just get a skill, like, that you can use, that is with you, or you can pass over to somebody else. So that's
So basically, skill development is your core, right?
core.
Yeah, we need to get you to develop a curriculum for that, for LDC, so that people can, come and take the training. We should talk about that. So, but when you were talking about fashion, you said something, and I wanted us to just talk a little bit more about that. Dressing. So there's the school of thoughts that, those who dress or focus on dressing, they are worldly, especially in the Christian world, that we are worldly, that is worldliness, and all that. And then there's that school of thoughts that you are talking about, that, when you are dressed well, not only are you, because you're a representative of God and God is excellent, you're supposed to be excellent. But you also said, secondly, people judge the book by its covers. They are not supposed to. The content of the book might be great, but if the covers are not good, people might not read it, even though the content is great. And then, I remember there was, I think somebody, was it Steve Jobs or somebody that said it, that when I think it was Pastor Biodun that actually talked about that, said it one time, that when he wants to give a gift, that he might spend a particular amount of money on the gift, but he will spend several times more on the packaging of the gift. And of course, when you go to the store or you buy something, you will see one tiny thing. I've gone to buy some electronics, like a tiny whatever, but you open it up. I have some things in this place right now, like, you just open up you see the package so beautiful, but you now open the thing, it's just one tiny thing. They actually invested more in the packaging and even in the thing itself. I want you to speak more about that, about this packaging thing, how, packaging yourself for your purpose.
Okay. While you were talking, I'll start by saying that, by reiterating what Paul said. Paul said that he became all things to all men, so that it would be able to reach more people. So as Christians, I think that's how we should be. We should not ignore the content though. So that when they open the package, they are not like, but we're still in the world.
Yeah.
So we still need to pay attention to how we appear. People will listen to you when they say. I remember that year when Pastor Biodu was saying is that, okay, that his dressing actually changed that year, and he was like telling us that we would have noticed that his dressing changed, and that what God is laying in it, that there's a particular group of people that God is leading him to reach at this time. And he was talking about the millennials, the younger generation. And that is why his dressing changed to attract those people. So that cannot be overemphasized. We need to appear good, we need to look good. Fine, we also need to pay more attention to the content, because we need to be good inside and outside. So that cannot be overemphasized. We just need to. The world sees us before they listen to us. That's just what I want to
So basically, what you are saying, because I'm getting some more insight about you now, just in this conversation, because I'm listening, my mind is going, trying to summarize everything. So I've seen that basically your thing is holistic. The content part is the skill development part of you. The packaging part is the fashion and order and organization part of you. So basically what you want to do is that you want to package, you want to help people package themselves wholly, content and covering,
Yes.
together so that they can be able to achieve
Penetrate.
and fulfill their purpose maximally. That's your call, that's your passion. That's what you want to do. So, and you've been working on the aspect of the packaging with, I know you do that with City Praise where you worship. I know, I see all those things. You tell them this is what we're wearing for this, we're coordinating this color, we're doing that, right? And then of course, all this, you are sewing, you are doing all that. So you are working on that, on that aspect, because that's very essential. And then the other part of you is that skills development, which is what
Yeah.
you want to get really, really into, which is what that school is all about, right?
Yes.
Did I get you right?
Yes. You
Okay,
get it right.
very good. So the with the fashion, like the packaging aspect, we've dealt with that one. And we've talked about how important it is, for everybody to package themselves well, because that's what's going to you dress for where you are going, right?
Yeah.
The Bible says that Joseph, he was a prisoner, but when Pharaoh called him to come and interpret the dream, he said he took off his prisoner's garb and he
Yes.
dressed because he was going to stand in front of Pharaoh. So we should all dress for where we are going.
Yeah.
So let's now move on to the other part of you, which is the skill development and some other part of you too. So during this pandemic, you came up with some masks. What prompted you, to do that, like creating masks and all that?
Well, I just when it just came up, I just when the whole thing started, I was like, and I know they were still saying that people should not wear masks and all that, but it just occurred to me that it's because of the shortage of masks. That's why they were saying people should not wear masks. And somehow I knew that people would that was still going to become a thing. So it was an idea that came to me because where I was working at the time, we were told to stay home, that nothing was happening. We're supposed to be doing prom dresses.
Mhm.
Then the lockdown started and we had to stay home. And then while I was headed home that day, I was just like, okay, let me just do mask. And I was like, okay, I was prompted to do the mask. I was like, okay, how much will the mask cost? So I was going to do it for free. And I said I was going to do the mask for free. And I spoke with somebody, you know. Let me point, let me bring this out here that one other thing that has helped me is relationship with people.
Yeah.
I don't know. God has blessed me with good people around me, and that is very, very important, even in the pursuit of your passion or anything.
Mm-hmm.
People are the ones that announce you.
Yeah.
God doesn't come down to do it, He uses the people around you.
Yeah.
So that's one blessing I have enjoyed,
Mm-hmm.
as a business person. So I spoke with somebody and then he suggested that, okay, why not talk to Pastor Led?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I was like, why not talk to Pastor Peace about it and do
Mm-hmm.
it with
Mm-hmm.
partner with them? And I was like, okay. So I spoke with her, and that was how it started. And then started making the mask, and before we knew it, everything just.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't understand how that happened,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just something that was laid on my heart to do at that time, and
Mm-hmm.
I just decided to listen to that and take the step.
Yeah, that was so, strategic, because they were still saying then that, oh no, mask, does not really work or whatever. But you started
Yeah,
producing the mask, and then before you know, people were ordering it, companies
yeah,
were ordering and all this, that. And you do all this colorful, set
yes.
of, mask, right now. And now mask is everybody. Now,
Everybody,
yeah, yeah.
even the big designer. Some people were even. There was this lady. She's a medical doctor, and she has a clothing line. She was like, no, she wasn't gonna do masks because it doesn't do anything. The last time I checked her website, she had masks. So
Hmm.
I believe that God is always giving people ideas.
Yeah,
He just and it gives as a lot of people receive those ideas. It just depends on who is going to run
yeah.
with the idea.
Exactly. And that leads to something I wanted to ask you. Because those things that you are producing, including this one, and you've given me a lot of, you've made all kinds of beautiful shirts for me. I love them. I have them, So this thing takes hard work because, some people receive ideas, right? There's this adage that says that if wishes were horses, beggars will ride, right? A lot of people receive ideas. Ideas are not scarce. Ideas come every time. You're in the bathroom, you are driving, you are doing this and all that. And some people will talk about it. Some people will, write it down. Some people will do whatever. But wealth or fulfillment of purpose or whatever is the conversion of ideas into products or services, right?
Yes.
But the process of conversion is what is called work.
Yes.
And I can tell you, I identify with it because I get ideas, right? For example, right now I have some major things that I have ideas for, but the work that I have to do to be able to convert them, it works with books. I had to create an app that I had to go through the Bible, like 6 times, and I had to redo it again another year and all that. It was work. I will be seated, my butt seated down like for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, preparing of sermons, writing of books, and all this stuff, like the curriculum for all this leading life training and all that. It's work. It takes work to convert ideas. So really, wealth is idea plus work, right? Which becomes a product, right? So then there's a marketing of it. There's a work in there too of the product and of the idea. So I noticed that you must be a hardworking person because making those masks, making those clothes, making all that, required some work. How is that? How did you develop that? And what's your story in that area? And what can you say to people who have ideas that are lying down, but they're just not,
Okay, Pastor Lan, I've not always put my ideas, I've not always turned my ideas to products anyway, because I used to have a lot of ideas and I used to just write them down. But this past couple of years have just been the times that I've just decided to just put some ideas to work, and see how it goes. I believe I'm somebody that has a strong work ethic, and I know I drive myself. But the thing about it is, once my mind is set to do something, I just need to get to that point. So once my mind is set that, okay, this is what I should do, I just do whatever it takes to get it out. That's how I do it. Once I know that, okay, I want to do this, or once I look at something, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. I just, so in a way, it's like it's already done in my mind. And the product has to come out. That's a way. I was sharing at the women's study group yesterday that my first book, after I had the manuscript and I wanted to publish, and my brother was like, you won't sell a lot of copies, so just wait till you're famous and all that before you publish it. I dropped it for a while, but then after some time I was like, okay, I want to do this. And I actually thought I didn't sell a lot of copies too.
I need to read that book. I didn't know you had a book.
Yeah,
send it to me.
I didn't sell a lot of copies, but I got it out.
You got it out, yes.
Yeah, so I believe that once my art is set to do something, I just do it. I just get it done.
And that's the thing about work. I wrote my first book in 2003, right? And since that time, that's 17 years. That book still, that's just before you say I do book. That book still sells now. People still buy it. Once you create it and you make it available, it's intellectual property. I talk about work in the leading light. We talk about the different types of work, right? So we talk about work. There's some kind of work where, when you do the work, but you have to be there all the time to do it. That's like as an employee, the work requires you to be present.
Yeah.
Right. And so your income comes because of your presence, right? If you are not present, the income is going to stop. So that's
Yes.
where most people usually start from. That's employment, like you are an employee. So you are there, then your income stops, right? Then
Yes.
I talk about the second level of income, right? Where you, so the first one is an employee, right? Somebody is in charge of your time. Then the second level is when people hire you for like an independent contractor, where you come and work at your own time and get something done for them, and you still pay. But that also still requires your presence,
Yeah.
right, to do it. That's a second level. But then you begin to move into new levels, in a sense, of income when you start moving to the third level of work. The third level of work is the kind of income that you work once, and then the income starts coming over time. So that's the kind of work when you create a design, when you write a book, when you make a movie, when you create
Yeah.
a sermon, or like creative stuff, an app or whatever. It takes a lot of work to
Yeah.
get it done. But after you have done that work, it is done, right? You patent that work, you do whatever, and then you move it into production and all that. Then it continues to generate and generate for you. That's the third level of income. And then the fourth level is when you are now using other people's work. You get what I'm
That's
saying?
the level
Other
that I
people are
want to
working,
get to.
and you are just making money from it. That's what a business is, right? For example,
Yeah.
you see Microsoft and all these people. A lot of the things that Facebook is creating, Microsoft is creating, all this stuff. They're not being created by the person who is at the head or the CEO. They're being
Yeah.
created by people that are being employed. So basically, they are using other people's labor while they are, whatever, and then they are making more of the money and paying those people for their labor.
Yeah.
That's the third one. And then, sorry, the fourth one. Then the fifth one is when you actually don't even do any work. You just make the money work for you. That's when you begin to invest in things. You invest in a stock, you buy this one, and it's just working for you and bringing income. So I usually tell people that you need to, to grow in these levels of income, or have a bunch of them, at the
Yeah.
same time, different streams and all that. So you are blessed when you are, when you are employed. You are blessed even, to a greater extent when you are able to employ yourself to create something that brings income to you, and then when you're even able to employ other people. Yeah. So we're just talking about entrepreneurship in here, right? So
Yeah.
what do you say about that?
Yes, I mean the role is to be able to employ people, because at some point you might not be able to do the manual thing yourself. So I mean, but I also what I also do is I have relationships with other designers, because I feel that we are in this thing together.
Yeah.
So if even right now, if I have much more than I can do, I call my colleague. I
Yeah.
just let him know that, okay, I have this. Will you be willing to do it and all that? So
Mhm.
I mean, and then as the business grows, you are able to bring in more people so that you can also reach more people. So
Okay.
that's the like end goal of the.
Very good. Awesome. Awesome. So, I mean, my last question for you. So, tell me, with all these things we have talked about, your life and all that, tell me like 5 principles that not me, the people that are listening, 5 principles that you say the principle of success in my sphere, in my area, what I build my life on. So talk.
Okay, okay. I'm still on the success journey. I'm not there yet. In
Success
fact,
is never
sometimes
ending.
sometimes I feel
Failure,
I've not even
failure
started.
is never final. Success is never ending. Success is a journey. It never
Yes.
stops. Yeah.
Yeah, so but I would say that for me, one of the things that really helps me was my relationship with God. It's really helped a lot. It's made me see what I need to do. It helps me in discovering myself. You understand? And it's helped to like lead and guide me in what I need to do at a particular point in time. And even when I make mistakes, it's been like a stronghold for me to fall back to,
Yeah.
and just take my stand that okay, it's okay to make mistakes. So relationship with God for me is really key. And the second thing I would say, I talked about education. You need to get the skills. You can't just be passionate. You need to know what you're talking about. You need to let people know that, okay, this is my field and I'm versed in the field. There was one, I think it was earlier this year, late last year, there was this Bible verse that was coming to my mind, that the children of this world are wiser than the children of the kingdom. And I kept asking the question, so what makes them wiser? They're not supposed to be wiser. And I realized that when you see them in business, they do all it takes. They study, they learn. When they are doing business, they make it strictly business. They know what to do. But sometimes we don't give that much work to it. We don't. You should rely on the Holy Spirit. Fine, but we still have a role to play to know what we're talking about. Paul was somebody like that. He was versed in what he was doing, and he was an apostle. Then the other one is relationship with people. I think relationship with people has helped me a lot. And I recognized that, I think, since I was in high school, because while I was growing up, I looked at my parents, I was like, so these people, they don't have friends. So I told myself that I was going to give what it takes to have good people around me. And when I got to college, I made sure I focused on that, to have good people around me, people that I can just call and say that, okay, this is what this is the challenge I'm having, and people that I'm also there for. It's not about calling them up and say this is challenge, but I make sure that I'm also there for them. I also make deposits into their lives so that when I'm calling them up, they are able to respond. And then research. We have to research. You need to learn. You need to study. Things are evolving. New things are coming up. So we need to do research as much as possible. And the last thing I have here is courage. And we said courage is not the absence of fear. It's just going ahead. Once you know in your spirit that this is what you should do, just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead. I appreciate the entrepreneurship group a lot, because that's one of the things Pastor Omar has been talking about. That just do it. It doesn't. There was one of them that I was like, it doesn't have to. No matter what comes out of it, just do it. You never know. What if the outcome blows your mind and you're not able to? So just go ahead and do it. And you'll see the result. Yeah.
Awesome. That is
So 1 hour. I didn't know I could talk about
that is powerful. So you are a single woman, right? So are you married?
I'm single.
You're single. So are you single and searching, single and close, single and open, or what?
I've been searched for.
Or you are just like, my career, I'm married, that.
Oh well, single. I'm open. I'm expectant. At the same time, I'm not sitting down waiting.
That's
doing things to improve myself. I'll put myself in a better space.
Very good. What's your definition of a good man?
Oh, I wasn't expecting that question. I think there was one time that we had, I can't remember the pastor we had in church, and it was like, a good man is somebody that it's in Acts that they were good men because they were men of faith and
in Acts chapter 6,
So a good man. Oh God. That's a good man. Pastor, you just put me on the spot. You just put me on the spot now. I mean, I always say when I meet the person, I would know. Is it okay to say that today?
No, not in this interview. What's your definition of a good man? Because
let me just.
I might be watching now,
Let me just say the things I look out for and the things that warm my heart. Firstly, somebody that has a relationship with God and not a church goer. Somebody that from the things it says, you know that okay, this person, hears God, listens, prompted by God, and that actually determines how the person's heart is.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to the next to the next one, which is the person's heart. I
Mm-hmm.
want to see what the person's heart respond to,
Mm-hmm.
and the way I see that is what the person says.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I always do, I always want to communicate, talk with the person, and I make them so free such that they're able to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I look out for the art, and then maturity is very, very important for me.
Yeah.
You need to be because I can be. I have an understanding of who I have, and I believe I need somebody that is really mature
Yeah.
for us to be able to work
Mm.
together.
Yeah.
And then somebody that a purposeful man that knows where he's going, knows, you know, what he wants, what God wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody that is ready to commit, somebody that is ready to be committed, you
Mm-hmm.
know, ready to build something with somebody else.
Okay.
And I like open, I like men that are, I don't like closed people.
Mm-hmm.
Although I could be closed, but in the area that when I'm sure that this is the basic and this is it,
Mm-hmm.
then, but I'm so open. So I like somebody, men that are like open, able to listen to people, other people's views, not somebody that is just
Mm-hmm.
set in their ways.
Very
So,
good.
I mean, I don't know, other things when I see them.
Very good. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. So, good man, in case you are watching, you already heard. how do how do people reach out to you for your business, for your services? What can you provide for people, first of all? And then how can people reach out to you?
Okay, yeah. So right now I'm into custom wear for women, men, and kiddies at times. And then the mask business is still on because I've decided to milk it as much
Yeah.
as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now I have a business page and it is ODIE underscore designs.
Okay. OG design.
ODIE
Okay.
underscore designs. So my
Okay.
business name is OD Designs, and I have a Facebook business page as well, which is OD Designs.
Okay.
So if you want
I think
any,
they are typing it and they'll put it up, right now for people to see. Yeah. So
so you could reach out to me. I have my phone numbers and my office hours there as
okay.
well.
So that's Instagram, OD Design at OD Designs
OD underscore designs on
Design.
IG
Okay. And then
and
on Facebook,
Facebook OD underscore designs as well.
good. And people can reach out to you there.
Yes.
Good. How long did it take you to make this?
Maybe about 4 to 5 hours.
Wow. It takes that long?
Yes, it's hard work,
Wow.
Pastor.
What's the process? Like, first of all, what do you do? You cut it or you?
Yeah. First
Okay.
of all, you pattern it, then you cut it, then you sew it.
When you are doing that, are you complaining or you are enjoying it? Like when you are cutting it, oh, oh, no, this is just taking too long. Oh,
No, the only thing that, when I have a new design that I want to do, it takes some time. But it's not like I'm complaining because I'm looking forward to the end product
yeah.
and what it's gonna look like. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So there's no complaint. I just go ahead and do it.
Okay. So, and then where do the ideas come from? Where do you get your ideas from? Are you in a particular mood when those
Sometimes when I see other people's work and I look at them, I get some ideas. Sometimes when I see garments on people,
Mm-hmm.
I get ideas. And sometimes when I'm just quiet, I like being in the quiet environment a lot.
Yeah.
Then I just get ideas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. When are you going to get ideas of gowns for men? I'm just joking.
Yes, Pastor Lan, I got the idea already.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yes. But
Okay.
I'm like, what I've been thinking about lately is like taking some design feature from women's garments and putting them on men's garment. But I'm like, First of all, I'm a lady sewing menswear,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I still have more of African clients right now who are like, ah, obìnrin ló rán, a lady sewing it, and then you're putting a lady's picture on it. They're like, I look like a woman. So that's why I've been slowing down on
Okay.
those things. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Godspeed, more ideas from God, flood the world with your creativity, help people develop their skills, their content, their packaging. It's well needed. We all need it. We need it for any area of purpose. So you are doing an awesome work. Stay with it. Don't let anything stop you. Just keep moving on. Breakthrough is on the way. Ask and you will be given. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open. And as you do that, God will use, your seed, what you are putting out. God will use it to bless a lot of people and use it to advance His kingdom. So really proud of you. Well done, good job, and great job also for the worship and all. We didn't get to talk about that aspect of you singing and worship and all that, but that's another part of it too. But great job on your consistency. God's grace continue to multiply on you. And thank you for joining us for Light 360 today. Thank
Thank
you
you
for your
so much.
time and sharing your story. For those who are watching us, I believe you've been blessed. If you've been blessed, please say thank you to Okwe. Post something in there and just appreciate her for sharing her story. It's it takes boldness to come out like this and unprepared and just be able to go and talk because any question can come from anywhere. But
Yeah.
you're able to feel and to answer those questions very well. So really appreciate you for joining. I believe that people appreciate you. So show some love, everyone. And while that is going on, I want to say thank you, everybody, for joining the Light 360 for today and this week. It's been a very powerful week. So we're going to be rounding up for this week today. And next week, I'll be coming on again with some more powerful stories, some powerful stories of some individuals for next week. So I look forward to that. So thank God for this week. So I want to wish every one of you a wonderful weekend. Have an awesome, awesome, awesome weekend. And then we'll be seeing you next week. Keep shining your light. God bless you. Keep posting there. We'll see it on the post, even though we are off. And share this video, share it so that other people can also be a part of it. It's going to be there on my pages there. So thank you. And, bye-bye, everyone. See you later.